happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. HTPT is sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family. We're here at Rowan County Senior High School. I'm Aaron Snyder, joined by Zack Klemme and Matthew Sparks as usual. You're watching us at dailyindependent.com or the newly formed Halftime Prep Talk Facebook page.
Whoa.
That's right.
Look at us.
We're getting fancy here.
Century.
That's right. Check out the Chick-fil-A ticker for some of the area teams and all their records. I said some of the area teams, but it's going to be all of them. But it's going to be ranked 1 to 19 this time. Doing something a little different with the ticker this week. 1 to 19 based on winning percentages through Wednesday.
You do love your rankings.
Well, everybody loves rankings, Zach.
Everybody loves to be mad about rankings, so that's good.
That's true.
People don't like facts either, but these are just winning percentages. Called hard numbers.
That's right.
Get over it.
You can't dispute them, can you? So let's play a little game called What's the Coolest Thing That Happened to Me at Work This Week? And I don't get to play it, neither do you, Matt. What about you, Zach?
Whoa! Got to narrow it down really, because I got to go to Raceland for 2 basketball
That was
games,
good.
So that was fun, but
not bad.
It was kind of a neat deal. If those of you who watched the AFC Championship game last week, so Owen Daniels, tight end for the Denver Broncos, caught 2 touchdown passes, really helped them out a lot. Kind of came out of the blue, really. And little did we know until Mark Maynard walked in the office, the Grand Poobah, the next day and said, you know, that guy's wife is actually from Ashland, Kentucky, and we ought to do a feature story on her. And so it's like, well, okay. So we kind of went through some red tape, and I was actually able to get a hold of Owen Daniels' wife on her cell phone, and Owen Daniels, which was pretty cool. So we're going to have a feature story on that on the day of the Super Bowl, so look forward to
well, for that 2 Sundays from now, obviously.
That'll be pretty cool.
Next week we can give our Super Bowl predictions. All right, let's leave that for next week.
Okay, I'm going to talk to Cam Newton next week.
Who's going to win the Pro Bowl? Team Urban or Team Rice or Team LA or I don't know who. Okay, whatever. We're going to be joined by Coach.
Did you actually watch the Pro Bowl?
No, not really. I know I did anyway.
Yeah.
Coach Elaine Douglas of the Lady Vikings will join us here in a bit, as will Coach Sean Thacker of the boys. Both teams having rather nice seasons, aren't they?
Indeed.
So let's go to balls in their court. Zach.
Nice. Right on the money. Got to see Lewis County and Raceland's boys basketball game on Monday night, and Trenton Walker finished with 12 points. 6 of those came in the last 57.1 seconds. Had a transition and one off a steal that put Lewis ahead. They'd been behind for about the 2/3 of the game really before that. Put them ahead on his and one there, and then Raceland is able to get it back there. Noah Braden hits a free throw. A couple of free throws there, but Trenton Walker hits another free throw, one into a 1-and-1. Raceland goes back up again, and then with 9.7 seconds left, Trenton Walker drives the lane, gets fouled, hits both of his free throws, and he kind of was a little bit self-deprecating about it afterwards. Said, I've not been shooting free throws real well, but he was able to hit the ones that mattered. Scored 6 points in the last 57.1 seconds. A big district win for Lewis because that assures them of at least the 2 seed in that district tournament, and depending on what Granite does, Granite was tied with them. That could come down. They could win it outright, depending on what happens, or it could come down to a coin toss. We'll kind of see how that happens. But big win for Lewis and big game for Trenton Walker.
All right, Matthew Sparks.
Thank you very much. I'm going with Hunter Kinzer, Wood County's big man. Had a huge double-double against Graham County Tuesday night. 26 points, 19 rebounds. I kind of called him after the game was over, Sherwin-Williams, because he was putting a show on in the paint. I know on Twitter I called
it on thick there.
Yeah, I know. I know on Twitter I called it Sherman Williams. Accidentally, typing too fast. But boys now won 6 games in a row, 8 of the last 9. They have a game before this show will air, so we don't know if that streak will continue. But Hunter's a big part of the reason why they won so many games. Really a presence in the post for them, a physical player, and also can step up to the 3.
All right. I'm going to go to the Tomcats. I'm going to go to the Fountain of Youth. I'm going to go with the sophomore. Chase Billers for Ashland had 15 points in a game that you didn't see many points in.
Right.
40-28 win over East Carter for Ashland, and Chase Billers was the guy that was actually hitting shots. He had 5 3-pointers out of 6 attempts, And it's much needed for Ashland at this juncture of the season to see someone like that follow up some previous performances. He's shown flashes before, but it seems to me that he has grown out of some of the timidness that is usually there when you're a freshman or sophomore on a varsity court. Right. And I think seeing his brother Christian blossom as he has, that's probably given him some more confidence and some more comfort out there on the court as well. So Chase Villers with 15 points against East Carter deserves a game ball.
That was perilously close to the tripod.
Watch the camera.
That's
there.
what I was trying to do. I like to live close to danger, but not,
I dig it.
Did you see our producer Allison's face there when you threw that at the camera?
I did not see
a little surprised there.
3-point shot. Top 3 games coming up this weekend. East Carter at West Carter boys. Burt Green is going to be honored. The former Olive Hill, basically Olive Hill's Pete Maravich, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Burt Green. So he scored a ton of points. And I think he led the region for decades. Until Jonathan Ferguson of Elliott County.
So that's from the 50s, I think, all the way to the
So almost a half century he led the region in scoring. So much deserved honor this Friday night, and an even bigger honor coming up, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But let's talk about the game. East Carter and West Carter.
You mentioned a guy that scored a lot of points, and the East is kind of looking for some more points right now. Their top scorer is out for the year. They've got some other guys that have not contributed a ton in terms of the box score. They have a lot of guys that do a lot of different things well, but as illustrated by the Ashland game we just mentioned, at times they have struggled to put the ball in the basket. And so it's going to be a matter of, they got some points from maybe an unexpected source in that first West Carter game. A big one there when Justin Green hits the three-pointer at the end of the game. And they're going to need, East is going to need to figure out how to get some more from some different sources. Ben Jordan did not play in that first game, and he's coming off a 27-point performance against Raceland. So how they intend to try to check him in the post and where they're going to get their points from will be huge this weekend.
Yeah, and somebody that has played pretty well in the post for East Carter is Cameron Bailey, right?
Cameron Bailey's really stepped up, and when Cameron went down, he's really upped his scoring a little bit. It's been a really trying year for East Carter. But when these two teams get together, you just throw the records and everything out the window. It's really a competitive game. But West Carter, with their front court, it's hard to match their size, especially for East Carter with them in now. East Carter's bench players have really kind of stepped up, though, I thought. And they've really remained competitive with their defense in the game. So this might still be a closer game than maybe most people might expect.
West Carter, if they're hitting shots, they're really, really tough to beat. And that's like Dalton Brown and JT Johnson is key for them as well. Braden Brown is becoming a better point guard. He's just such a good athlete on the floor. He's hard to guard. And he does a lot of different things.
So the front court creates a lot of attention. It sets up those shooters. Hayden Rowe having such a great year so far.
Absolutely. What about Russell at Raceland Girls? That's going to be this Saturday night. In the first meeting, kind of a surprise, I think, to all of us. Raceland won the first meeting. Can they do it again?
I think they can. Maybe a little bit more of a trying time. This time, Russell's out for revenge this time. I think, maybe early in the season, you would have thought this might be a bear game for Raceland, but right now, this has become a bear game for Russell. Whereas if Russell loses this game, Raceland will have a stranglehold on that district. You might not have thought that at the beginning of the season, but I think Russell plays with a more sense of urgency this time. For Raceland, though, they got 4 seniors on that team, but the one that drives that team is their sophomore point guard, Lauren Runyon. Really can rebound as well as score now, and they had a lot of big shots in that game, in that first game, just to keep the game going for Raceland. And I think Russell might pull this one out, though, this time.
According to Ron Keaton, the coach of the Lady Rams, of course, Lauren Runyon actually suffered an ankle injury against Boyd, but I'm not sure what her status will be going forward.
If they don't have her, then they're going to struggle mightily, probably on the boards. Russell is bigger inside than Raceland is, especially if Crystal Keaton has played on the wing a little bit for Raceland. So that may, whether or not Runyon is available, may impact the way they approach that game for sure, strategically and personnel-wise. But Raceland has gotten Russell once of each of the last 2 years, counting this year, and that's not something that most people would have predicted coming into this season. So it will be a matter of if you're Russell, they were the on-paper favorite to win this district coming into it and to compete in the region. They had that loss. They came in here Rowan and got beat on MLK Day. And Rowan has been playing really well, but Russell didn't play maybe as well as they would have expected to in this game. So at this point, it's just a matter of they have a lot of good pieces. They got to show up and put it all together. Maggie Jacobsuk is one of the premier players in the region, but they need a little bit more from a few other sources.
And Madison Darnell missed that game.
Well, yeah, look at these teams. These teams are very deep.
Right.
So if they lose one of their key players, it's going to be awful hard for that team to perform as they would like.
Right.
All right, let's go right here on Friday night. You're probably watching this on Friday, so tonight, Mason County at Rowan County Boys. That's a rematch of Sean Thacker and Buddy Biggs, so there's some storylines there. But the bigger storyline for those teams is, can this kind of be a springboard into February? This is a big game for both of those teams, not in terms of region record or anything like that, but just maybe for Rowan, getting right back on track after a loss to West Carter, and Mason, recently lost to Greenup County. So important game, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, this is a good out-of-region game that both of these programs have played for the last several years. Mason is just right up Route 11 from here, so it's a nice short game for them to play. And Mason County has had a lot of success against the 16th region for the last several years. Really, they had won 17 straight against the region until Greenup beat them last week. Right. So Mason views this as I think Round does as well, a chance to see a little bit different style, different brand of basketball that can get them ready for the postseason. But these are two teams that have had pretty good seasons as well. So a lot of athleticism on the floor for both teams, and both will be pretty well coached. So it should come down to the end and kind of see who's able to make the plays. And Coach Thacker will talk about that a little bit later about the value of it, but of a game like that for sure.
Well, this is a very good Mason team that's going to come in here Friday night and to play. It's really going to be a big test for Round. I think it comes down to defense. Mason does score a lot of points, but that's right up Larry Whalen's Allen. It's a very good defender, may set the tone for the team, and it's going to be a close game.
And another guy that's really stepped up for them is Chris Roberts for Rowan County, that is. And Sean Thacker's talked about that. Roberts has been solid all the way around, but especially defensively. I think he brings a good energy out there and is really playing with extra emphasis, extra effort this year. Mason County has a guy named Pig, and his nickname's Pig, Antrovon Williams, and I think he'll be key in this game too. Depending on how Rowan's defense does against him, that could go a long way.
He and Whalen will likely play against each other a lot because Antrovon Williams is a point guard, a premier point guard. So that matchup
real good matchup.
Could define how the way this game goes.
All right, we're going to bring Coach Douglas in here, and then we'll talk to Coach Thacker, and I'll let these two yahoos close it out. Okay, here inside the Rowan County Vikings locker room, joining us now is Elaine Douglas in her second season as Rowan County Lady Vikings coach. Coach, you guys are really clicking right now. 7 wins in a row at this point. Haven't lost since December. What is clicking for you guys?
Well, I think every game towards, as we started the season, we kind of figured that we were going to gel and get a little bit better, and that's exactly what has happened. The more games we've played this year, the better the team gelled and came together. We had a couple of newcomers, and it's really helped us out a lot. The chemistry is just getting better, it seems, with each game we play.
How strong is this senior group? You have 5 of them this year.
Yeah. They're a very strong group. They bring a lot of team leadership to the game, and they've played together since 5th or 6th grade. So, they're acclimated to each other, but on and off the court, they just bring a lot of leadership to the team as a whole.
One of those seniors is Sarah Purdy, who's having a tremendous season for you guys. She's coming off a 28-point 13 rebound performance, you said, against Lewis County. So you said she's approaching 1,000 points.
Correct.
A big season for her.
Yeah, she's had a really big year, and well deserving. She's a type of kid that she's kind of a coach's dream. She practices just like she plays, gives it 110% all the time. So very deserving, and really undersized for the position she plays. She plays like she's 6'2", and so she's very deserving of having a really good season this year.
You kind of have a good mix of guards and forwards, don't you? I mean, you have some of those forwards, like you said, that Purdy plays bigger than she really is, but you have a nice mix, don't you, on the court?
Yeah, we really do. Hannah Bandora is another senior that really works hard, gives 110%. I've got Nicole Plank, of course, at the point guard, and she provides that leadership that a point guard should, getting kids in the right place, takes the three when need be. Yeah, I've got a junior in being Allison Callahan that has grew up basically with these seniors. In fact, if you didn't know better, you'd think she was one of the seniors, but does real well. And then another senior, Summer Oakley, comes in along with Ariel Gross, and they give me a ton of good minutes. The other starting position right now, I've got Morgan Berry, transfer from West Carter. So I've got a really good group, and I got some younger kids coming on that we're beginning to get some good minutes out of them also.
Also in the 61st district is Menifee County, who's kind of on the rise this year. They're on a roll, kind of like you guys are. They're playing in the All-A tournament right now as we record this. And Fleming County, they're coming off, they went to the 16th Region Championship game last year. So a tough district once again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very tough district. As I talked to you earlier, the district and also the region, 16th Region in the whole is good quality girls basketball, well coached. So, every game's a challenge. So.
Tell us about your day job a little bit. It's different than most coaches' day jobs.
Yeah. I'm a part-time paramedic for a couple ambulance services, one in particular here in Round County. Really enjoy it. Enjoy getting out and working with the people, and it's a very challenging job, and I do enjoy it.
What time do you usually get here every day?
Well, it depends on if I'm working. I mean, sometimes I'm coming off a 24-hour schedule and go into practice. I'm very fortunate that, right now I'm working part-time, so I can pretty well pick and choose my hours, but there's times that, you'll come off a 24-hour and have to go on in and coach. But I'm very fortunate in the fact that the paramedic job seems to work out very well with my coaching.
Coaching-wise, any superstitions? I know Coach Thacker has a few.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got an old pair of ball socks that I had, I won't tell my age, several years ago that I always kind of rub and go back to in some really tense games. And I think as coaches, we've all got a few secret superstitions that we have.
So maybe the ball socks will come back out district tournament?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. A little bit more about your background. You've had other head coaching stops. St. Patrick, you were there for, you said how many seasons again?
7 with my middle school also. Yeah, it was a smaller parochial school, but very challenging also because you didn't have the kids that you've got at the bigger public schools. And I was also a year at Eastern Brown during part of their rebuilding. So, and I've coached tons of AAU. That's really where I got my start at. So.
Okay. What about playing days?
Playing days in Bracken County.
Okay.
Yeah. Played 4 years at Bracken and enjoyed it, and was at the days when there was no three-point shot, but yeah, enjoyed
any
it.
stats memorized?
No. No. Been too long ago.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks for talking to us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, here inside Round County's locker room, we just had Coach Douglas here. Now we're talking to Coach Sean Thacker, coach of the boys team. Obviously, a lot of success in the past and good success so far this year. But I want to start with the loss this week against West Carter. How have the kids responded to that? What did you guys maybe learn from that game?
Well, I think one of the things I talked about when I talk about last year's experience, losing the games to the Snow Day, losing the Elliott, the Morgan, the Knott County Central, losing those games, I thought going down the stretch were really important for us to get to play those games, get in that kind of an environment with those teams, and getting to play Elliott already earlier this year at home, and getting to play West Carter the other night, and it being a close game coming down to the wire. We've won several of those close ones, but this one we didn't get. We've won more than our fair share of those close ones down the stretch here. But it's a growing experience. Your team has a lot of information to learn from. How to handle late game situations, and you can talk about them. You can try to rehearse those in practice, but the live practice is the best one, and we got a lot of good things out of the night before, and hopefully it did transfer into yesterday's practice. Thought we had a pretty good practice yesterday, and you just got to keep trying getting better, because this region is crazy.
It is.
If you don't show up to play, if you're not on your game, us getting beat had a lot to do with that. West Carter did a few things a little bit better than we did, made a couple of plays more than we did, because at the end of the day, I felt like we did a lot of really good things. I know we've improved a lot since the first time we played them. We would have liked to have won the game, but overall seeing our team grow and develop as a coach is the most important thing. So, I think it was a great learning experience. I think we need more of that. As our schedule rolls down toward the end of the season here, we've got several tough opponents. We still got Morgan at home on the 13th. We go to Knott County Central. We go to Cordia. We go to Greenup, just to name a few. We go to Lewis County. So we got a tough schedule. We got East Carter at home. We got 3 more district games left, with Bath, Menifee, and Fleming. So, we got a tough schedule. We got a lot of games to play down the stretch here, and hopefully we'll have quite a few more of those, because there was a lot more to learn in a 1-point loss than there was a 15-point win.
And, the defenses continued to play well. Michael Antrobus had 30 points in that game, the Middleton County transfer. So, like you said, a lot of good things. And you mentioned a lot of season left still. But here in the near future, this Friday night, a little history with the coaches. Buddy Biggs from Mason County, of course, he coached at Ashland, and you guys met in the region tournament. It seemed like every other year, about every year there for a while.
Yeah. I think the first 4 years I was here or something, we met in the regional tournament, the first year we kind of struggled all year long, and finally got things put together toward the end of the year. We were district runner-up. We played them in the first round of the region, and I remember Adam Wing launching a inbounds pass late in the game in a 2-point game, ricocheted off the backboard, and Nick Duff caught it and shot it, because the clock doesn't start till a player touches it, and it hit the front of the rim very softly and almost went in, and we were down 2. We could have won the game on that one, but that was there is the respect and the rivalry between his teams and our teams here, and Coach Biggs does a great job. I have a lot of respect, and he does a great job. There's things that he does really well that I wish I could get my teams to do well. His kids play extremely hard. They run, he runs that fast break, and the pressure defense. I felt like in the last few years we've kind of we've kind of caught up with that kind of stuff with the way we're doing things here. But he was in the house the other night scouting as usual. He's going to be prepared. His kids are going to be prepared. We're already doing our homework, and we're getting ready for him as well. And it should be a fun out of region environment. Mason County, there, that's one I didn't mention, but it's the next one we got. And we feel like our schedule can help prepare us, because the regional tournament, you're going to have to probably win 3 really good games. You're going to have to play 3 close games, and you're going to have to go make your own breaks. You're going to have to make free throws down the stretch. You're going to have to execute a play down the stretch. You're going to have to take care of the ball with the lead with the ball, whatever. You got to do all those things, and hopefully our schedule prepares us for that.
Let's go back just a few years to 2011, that magical Sweet 16 run that you guys had. You go all the way to the championship, the state championship against Christian County. How often do you replay that game in your head?
We watched you can go to YouTube and see the video that they played before the championship game. We actually watched it in the office the other day. But it's something, there's always things around here that remind you of those days, and, texting with Adam Wing, and, keeping up with him, watched him, it was my Denver Broncos or my Adam Wing, and Adam Wing won out the other day because they both were on Sunday. So,
he's at Evansville now.
He's at Evansville, senior starting, having a great year. He's their featured player of the week this week if you go to their website. And, the commentators had a lot of really great things to say about him and his leadership.
No surprise to you.
Oh, absolutely. Things that we knew. And, the things that we told Coach Elgis, the assistant coach, and Coach Simmons, who's the head coach, that he wouldn't find a better leader anywhere. And he's been the leader of that team now since his sophomore year. And, he went in with a group of freshmen together, and they're all seniors right now. And I think they're 18-4. They have a shot to get to play in the NCAA tournament. I'm probably praying for that as much as he is, because I'd love to see him get an opportunity to play in the dance. And, awfully proud of him and what he's accomplished. And, we talk a lot about the special things that the 2011, even the 2012 team brought to the table that made them winners. And it's a fine line between being competitive, winning games, and then winning a regional title. And it takes a little bit of luck, but it takes a lot of desire, it takes a lot of work ethic, every day in practice. And I think that's something that's harder to get kids to understand as we move on in this business. The older I get, it seems like kids have entertainment at their fingers and all that kind of stuff. So, having kids who understand that is sometimes it's hard to find those kids these days. And that's something that we work hard in trying to get our kids to understand, the kind of mindset, the kind of work ethic, the kind of desire that it takes to be successful. It's one thing to talk about it, it's one thing to think about it, it's another thing to work at it. So, and that's what we try to get our kids to understand.
You've had a pretty nice run of good point guards, including from those teams, DJ Townsend, and your current team now, Larry Whalen. And you talked about having the leadership qualities. It seems like he exhibits those on the court.
Yeah,
and on the soccer field too.
Yeah, absolutely. You had DJ, and then Tyler stepped in and was able to do that his junior year, and then we put the ball in Larry's hands as a sophomore, he took over the reins there, and it's the third year of him running the ball club, and his role has changed. He's been asked to do a lot more for us. He's a stat stuffer now. I'm telling you, he rebounds the basketball. He's one of our best defenders. He gets steals, he gets assists, he's scoring the ball, he's shooting 45% or better from the 3-point line. He wasn't a willing scorer the first couple of years, because he had enough talent around him that he felt like that wasn't his job or wasn't his responsibility, even though at times we tried to encourage him to do it more. But he's accepted the challenge this year. He's accepted that role and that responsibility, and he's really thrived in it. And, the other night, I thought he was aggressive. I thought he did the things that he had to do for us to win. We just had a little bit of an off night of what we had been shooting. Right. Wes Carter gets a little bit of that credit, but Larry's a great kid, great student, and he's really embraced the role that we need him to do for us, and he's having a good balance between being a guy who's getting the basketball and distributing it to everybody else, and being the guy who's got to go get buckets for us. And, we got more things in place for him to do that. And, we're really proud of him, proud of what the soccer team, Coach Hammonds and Larry got accomplished again in soccer for a team from our region, this area of the state, to make it to the Elite Eight again is something special. You don't see that every day. And, his leadership out there and that vision that he has on the soccer field and on the basketball court is something special, because it's really something it's really hard to teach. It's a gift. I had the fortune of getting to watch him play baseball when I first moved here. He's pretty good at that.
Is he?
Track. Oh yeah. I mean, he could play about anything he wants to play and excel in it. But he chose basketball, which we're thankful for, and as well as soccer. And hopefully there's more on down the road for him beyond high school. We're looking at different options for him, and hopefully we can find something that fits him, and that's something that he wants to do.
All right, Coach. Last question. I got to ask you, Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl 50 coming up, Broncos or Panthers, and then I want to ask you, you're a music guy, who's the ideal Super Bowl 50 performer? Who should be on the stage at halftime?
AC/DC.
Okay.
All right. That's who I'd go with. And then as far as who should win the Super Bowl, or who do I want to win the Super Bowl, I've been a Broncos fan since 1977.
Okay.
So
not a bandwagon.
So not a bandwagon. I've been there for all 8 Super Bowls.
Okay.
So I've taken my Super Bowl losses. I think it's
How's that feel? I'm a Bengals fan, so I just don't know how that feels.
Well, Bengals is my second, but
Okay.
I don't get to enjoy the Super Bowls with them.
No, you
don't. But I did go through a couple of the Super Bowl. I can still remember I was a student at Morehead State when San Francisco came back and beat them, and I was a student here at Morehead State University. We'll just leave it at that. But we're going to root for the Broncos. I think they got their hands full. I think watching Carolina, their offense is so potent. Cam Newton's playing so well, but our defense has been pretty good. I had my doubts about the New England game. I thought that would be a really tough game, but the defense kept a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and they're going to have to be able to do the same kind of thing. If they do that, Peyton Manning's not the Peyton Manning of old, but felt like he did a good job of managing the game the last couple of playoff games and didn't make any mistakes and didn't get his team beat and just took advantage of the opportunities that he had to get in the end zone just enough to win the game.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck the rest of the season to the Vikings. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we're back.
Here we are.
Just two yahoos right over there at Aaron Snyder. It's time for two for the road.
Roll.
We're going to have to talk to the hand now because now sports fans just really don't want to hear this. Blake Griffin for the Los Angeles Clippers. A little hot water. Got into a little bit of a fight with the equipment manager. It's probably a friend. Fractured his hand, I guess, during the fracas. And now is out 4 to 6 weeks. Already missed 15 games with a quadricep injury. I'm just hoping that the NBA will fine and suspend him really severely because this stuff really has no business. It's not like he plays with a team. He's got more guys that he's too concerned with. He doesn't play tennis or golf. Right. So he really has been detrimental to his team with his behavior. And I think a huge fine would be a really slap to the face for him. So that's my take.
Now, you say he's his friend, but what kind of a friend are if you break somebody's hand with your face?
They're probably not friends anymore.
That would be questionable.
Yes.
Although guys tend to kind of, sometimes you punch somebody in the face and then you just kind of get over it and everything's fine. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, I was watching some of the NFC Championship game the other night. I was on the desk the other night and waited for that game to end so we could get it in the paper. And Carolina just had a tremendous game against Arizona. And you can usually tell how Carolina's doing based on Cam Newton's facial expression. If he's grinning ear to ear and running around and pretending he's flying an airplane and dabbing and super camming all this, then you know that things are going pretty well for Carolina, which they did on Sunday. It's just kind of, you read some things, and most sports newspaper columnists tend to be kind of a little bit older and a little bit more experienced. Some might say crotchety, depending on who the guy is on the individual. And a lot of these people are maybe don't necessarily relate as well to a lot of people in our society. It's just kind of like, a lot of people are saying, that's bad for the game, and he's drawing attention to him. So, whatever, man. It's a football game. He's having fun. They're playing well. It's not like he's taking attention away from his teammates because they're all out there carrying on doing the same thing. So, this is now it may be a different issue, and I'm as kind of sensitive to the whole, you want to be respectful of your teammates and all that, and of your opponent, and everybody's sensitive to that to a certain degree, and that's fine, and that there's certainly a place for that. But these are all people making at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, to play football, and it's a game and it's entertainment. You're on television, just take it with a grain of salt and relax and have fun and watch them dance and carry on and just enjoy yourself. Whatever, man.
All right.
Can't argue with that.
Well, that's all we got, I guess. We want thanks to Coach Elaine Douglas and Coach Sean Thacker for joining us in this very nice and I think clean locker room that he's provided for us. I think that's all we got.
That's notable.
So for Aaron Snyder and Zack Klemme, I'm Matthew Sparks, and always HTPT is sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family, and we'll see you next week.